done the fact of the issues that we're struggling with, what I'm trying to say is that when you have a hard time figuring this out, Scripture says, why don't you ask? But he said, don't ask if you are demanding a particular answer. He says that if you become double-minded in this, okay, I want it this way, but I want it this way, don't expect you're going to get an answer. Isn't that what he said? He says, look, and if you're asking, look at it. But when you ask him, be sure that your faith is in God alone, not in your own personal ability.
You know, I want to share a scripture in Matthew. Our pastor spoke of this last Sunday. Matthew 13:44. It says, the kingdom of heaven is like treasure buried in a field that a man found and reburied. Then in his joy, he goes and sells everything he has and buys that field. So when he goes, I mean, if you think about that, he was focusing on that treasure. So he goes and sells everything, comes back, buys this field, digs for the treasure. His focus is on the treasure. His back may hurt, his hands may hurt from that shovel, but he's digging for that treasure. Regardless, right. His focus is on that treasure. Yeah. Regardless of how his physical body feels, his focus is the treasure.
Great. Great point. Okay, somebody else, what did you take away? I'm sorry, I took a lot of time of your time. What did you find here in James chapter 1, verses 1 through 8? What did you find? Yeah.
Well, I had never noticed, although I read this passage, I think, fairly often, but I had never noticed what a bad thing wavering is. It's really quite a rebuke for people that waver, and I'm not saying I wavered today, maybe just a little bit, but it's just so clear there that we can't waver if we think we're going to grow and get things and have our loyalty in the right place. So.
Yeah. Notice the part about this divided loyalty is as unsettled as the wave of the sea that was blown and tossed by the wind. I think, did y'all hear the story that John was telling about their being stuck in their house? Do we have this conversation? I don't know if all of you did, so let me just share it again just in case you didn't hear it. John, whose house we work on tomorrow, but his mother lived next door. John, as you know, is a county sheriff, captain in the county sheriff, and he said that everything was completely normal. He looked out the window or whatever, and the lawn was dry, and within 10 minutes, the water was 3 feet deep in his house. In 10 minutes. He said it came in so fast that, and he's a trained first responder. He said we decided that we needed to leave, and by the time we got in the car and drove to the end of the street was flooded. We couldn't get out. And so he called his department and he said, we're stuck here, and they sent a boat for him. I don't know if you heard that part of the story. They sent a boat for him. And the boat came in, and the wind was so bad that the boat capsized. The sheriff's department, first responder teams, capsized, called off the mission, and said, you're going to have to just stay in your house. So he went in his mom's house, and he said, we started climbing as the water rose in these few minutes. We started climbing on higher and higher pieces of furniture. So we didn't know how high it was going to get. It's no sound? I don't know how to fix that.
So
they don't really need to just see
So
our
why
faces.
record?
Huh?
Exactly,
Why
they don't really
record?
need to see our faces.
Yeah.
Hang on a second, let me think.
Oh.
Let me think. A second.
Maybe they need to
I
restart.
can
Wait,
hear it.
Sheila can
Maybe
hear
they
it.
need to restart.
Maybe
All right,
it's
then
them.
on their end.
Yeah.
It's not ours.
Okay.
Tell them it's in. Tell them to start their
Here.
live feed over again.
Okay.
And we're going to go on. All right.
Can you
So
hear
anyway, he
it,
said
Glenn?
they called it off, and he had
Yes.
to just climb up on the furniture. Now think about this. If you're in your house
Oh, got it.
and you need to be rescued, And the reason you can't be rescued is because the wind is blowing the rescue away. You're in a perilous condition. He says the person who can't remain focused is kind of like the guy who gets the boat who gets blown upside down. You could be stuck in your miserable situation because the wind has blown your unstable, unsettled life aside. I know some people like that. You've got some people in your family like that. You just, every time some little something comes along, it seems to completely disable them, and you say, why? It's because they haven't become slaves, sold out, said, I am absolutely, unmistakably, undeniably shackled to whatever he allows in my life. That's important. Somebody else, what'd you find here? We'll take just another minute or two. It's what time?
8:30.
8:30? Wow, I talked a long time. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody else. What? Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
What did you say?
Daddy said that, yeah.
Somebody else. We'll get back to page 11 in just a moment. I think it's page 11. Anybody else find anything in the passage of Scripture? Now, for you guys who are here for the very first time, this is really important to us, that you read that Scripture and that you come in with some thoughts, not just to hear us or me, but to share your own thoughts. Tomorrow, I may have learned something and not talk quite so long.
Sorry.
Yes?
This says that we should ask our generous.
Are generous. Who gives? I think it's the New Living, or New International Version. I'm not sure whether it is.
I have it in the New International for
What's
the
it say?
NIV. Which verse?
It would be verse.
If any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you.
Without finding fault. The enemy is going to tell you should be way stronger, way more wise, way smarter, not should have any of these struggles. You shouldn't come and say, Pastor, can I just kind of set tomorrow out because whatever? No. I think it's the message. I'm not sure which one it is that translates that part, and he won't make you feel stupid for asking. I love that.
Well, I think it's key to know that he might have put that in there too, because as one another, we find fault in each other, and we don't always give generously.
Yeah, exactly right.
So, don't compare, when you ask for wisdom, don't compare God to asking, of someone else. God gives generously without
It's a good point.
fault.
It's a really good point. Can I tell you, just straight up honest, God probably expects a lot less of you than the people around you expect of you. Not that he doesn't have high expectations for you, but God probably expects less of you than the people around you, because they want you to be the kind of perfect that you talk. And who of us can make that? All right, let's go back to page 11. Who did you meet today? All right, let's do this very quickly. I want to try to get out of here.
I met, this morning I met earlier with a blue shirt.
Okay.
I didn't really need to get too much of the story, but I did meet Bob. And Bob is a local. And local by 2 hours a week, Columbia, Carolina. So, and sitting at a table that you don't know anybody actually gets conversation moving faster than it does when you're sitting with people.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah, there's something special about sitting at a table that you don't know people and just ask them their story. Who else? Somebody else. Who'd you meet?
2 police officers.
2 police. Who are they?
I didn't get their names. They were asking who we were.
Oh,
Then they asked you.
they did not make my most favorite list today. I'll tell you that. It was funny. Yeah.
I met Laura.
Laura.
Laura, yeah.
Laura. every time I turned around and needed some help, she was there. I didn't ask for it, she was just there. And, but afterwards I talked to her to find out, and she said that she had just thought that she needed to do something, and that she had tried to ask people, how do you go and help? And somebody said Samaritan's Purse, and go down and talk to them down there at this church, and she came down and signed in, and just on her own.
You
And
know,
all of you know Laura's story. She's living with her sister.
right, and her
sister
sister's
had a
up.
foot of water in flooding in her house.
Right.
And she shows up on our site. I'm telling you what, if we had 3 or more people like that, we could knock our work orders out in a hurry. I mean, this lady worked, and she worked hard. But she was there. I said, well, why are you not home cleaning out your house? She said, I looked around and saw all these volunteers, and I'm thinking, I want to get in on that. How cool is that?
Yeah, she told me that she wanted to take a break from her sister's house, and she wanted to be able to help others.
Yeah.
And she said that her sister was out of town, so you know, they're not able to get the assistance needed for their house. So it's just the family right now that's redoing it. But
And she told me when she left, she said, I'll be back. I'm probably going to have to spend a couple of days working at my sister's house. But she said, I can tell you right now, we're going to be there a few days, and then I'm going to say, it's enough. I need to go help somebody else. And she said, I'll be back serving you. How cool is that? That's great. Who else did you meet?
Kathy,
Kathy?
mm-hmm.
she's a friend of the homeowners there,
Right.
longtime friend, and she helped clean it out. And also extended family members of John and them, and trickling in throughout the day, and helping with it here. They've been watching us. They were watching, so you guys did a great job, kept watching us, and meet the family.
Pretty
You know,
impressive.
on Kathy, I want to go on Kathy. She is a family friend,
Yeah.
but I asked her where the connection was with Love, and I guess Love had taken in her 4 kids.
Leslie and Daisha do not know who Love
Oh,
is.
Love is the homeowner, okay, and she's an 88-year-old woman, and she had taken in Kathy's 4 kids. I don't know the depths of that situation, but anyway, and so Kathy had always said, she said, you know, it's just weird walking in here. She said, I always said I wanted to spend the night here. I want to spend the night here. And she said the only time she spent the night here was the night of the hurricane.
Really?
Yeah.
I tell you, this gives you a new perspective on Love, because I don't know if you saw the young lady that was out moving things into the garage that had the 2 little kids.
Mm-hmm.
said-
Sophia and
Yeah.
Ava.
And I said to her, I said, so what's your connection? How are you, why are you, in a nice way, why are you here? She said, because Love has babysat my kids since the day they were born, and she said, they're who they are because of this lady that took care of them. Isn't that amazing? I'm just telling you, it's really special. Somebody else, who'd you meet?
Rosalind.
Rosalind?
Yeah, I was over in the store next door.
Oh yeah.
She bought this big tub, had wheels and a handle on it, put all of her stuff. You can tell it was stuff they were going to use for after the hurricane. Apparently all this stuff got messed up, but she was going to pull it. Well, we got outside. She went out before me, and when I walked out, she's like, "You believe this? The handle was broke. So somehow in the factory, they put the pin through before they put the handle on one side, and so it was all discombobulated." So I went over and, long story short, so you grabbed a nut and bolt, come back, and she told me, she said, "No, you don't have to." I said, "I'll go get a nut and bolt. We'll fix this." "Well, you don't have to do that." She said, "I don't want to waste your time or take up your time." I said, "Man, we came all the way to Florida to help you people. You're not taking up my time." I said, so she was like, "Wow." So we went, got the nut and bolt, came back, put it on, and I asked her what we could pray for her about. I said, "Is there anything we can pray for you about?" She really looked surprised again. She said, "Yeah, her mother is Alzheimer's, and they had to displace her for about 5 days." And she said she doesn't know what's going on.
Catastrophic.
Yeah.
And her dad recently had a heart attack. And they're 88, 89 years old.
Rosalind, put Rosalind on
Rosalind's
your,
parents.
and then her parents on the situation. Right? So anybody else? Who'd you meet? Yeah, Dave, who'd you meet?
So I kind of like, Lord, how are you going to use me in the kitchen and all of that? And so a lady named Allison came in. She lives here. She has been a Catholic her whole life. And she said something just stirred in her heart. She said, I have no idea what it is. I've never felt it before. But somebody told me to go find somewhere to volunteer. And I was driving down the street and saw Samaritan's Purse. And so I decided that I was going to approach the kitchen like we do on the bus. And I said, well, we do this thing on our bus, and it's, what's your favorite verse? And she says, well, I'm gonna have to think about that. And so, I knew that she didn't know any. And I said, how about, what's something I can pray for you? And she just opened up and started sharing about her family. And it was just the neatest experience that, here I'm in the kitchen and there's only 2 of us besides Kathleen and her husband. And it was like, okay, God, I'm going to work this week to work with Allison. And I said, oh, are you going to come? And she said, you know what? I'll be here every day you're here. And I said, I'll be here for a week. And she's like, okay. She's like, I can make that commitment. And so it was just a really, and like I said, the format was easy for me to say, an easy opening to, well, what do you have a verse and things like that. And so I shared with her what my favorite verse was. And she's like, well, what does that mean? So I got to share that too. And so it was just a really cool thing.
That's cool. What's her name?
Allison.
Allison. All right, let's go skip the 2 Samaritan's Purse people for right now. Some of you didn't know that that's what I was going to ask. So tomorrow, you've got breakfast and dinner. I want you to sit down and tomorrow night, tell me who you met, Samaritan's Purse people. Number 6, what were your tasks? I asked you to write this down, not because we need to discuss it, but as Christy said, some of us go back and look at our books later, and we can say, you know what, here in New Bern, we did these kind of things. So I asked you to do that. The one that really matters most to me is number 7. What were your God moments?
Mine was what you were talking about earlier, the amount of work that we've done.
The amount of work that we accomplished. I don't know about you, but when I walked in this morning and we did the walkthrough, I'm thinking, in fact, we just had this conversation. We won't get out of these 2 houses for the rest of our trip. Well, we're going to finish Love's house most likely by noon tomorrow. Mm-hmm. You guys are just amazing. Now we will have to go back and pull out the ductwork underneath, but in terms of, for all intents and purposes, we'll finish that, and that's a miracle to me. It really is a miracle to me.
Yes, there's no mold, that's a miracle.
And there's no mold, is right.
No mask needed.
Yes.
No mask, that is a big
Yes.
miracle. Yeah. So cool. Somebody else. What was your God moment? Yeah, Lisa.
My God moment was when I was assigned to Miss Love to
Uh-huh.
help her with the little kitchen,
Yeah.
I was so amazed at her age, 88, but she was so alert. She remembered every detail in the kitchen, like every little thing that belongs to her husband. Her husband just passed away like 4 years ago from
Yeah.
Alzheimer's, she told me.
Alzheimer's, right.
Yeah, and there were like stuff there, and I really empathize, because of the loss and now this devastation that happened to her.
Yeah.
But she wasn't talking to me about how devastated she was. She was just like, okay, I really need to know which things here I can throw and not throw. So that's her. And I gave her that space, like she has to pick and not me. So I just said, is this to be thrown or this? Yeah, so she did that. That was my God moment.
Yeah, it was really special, and I don't know how many, if you heard her over and over and over, she kept saying, I'm so glad you guys showed up. I'm so glad you showed up.
She
In fact,
donates to the ministry, right? She's
I
donated to the ministry for a long time, and she said, and my giving has,
we finally,
Come-
it's
yeah.
finally come back. How cool is that?
Yeah.
I just know that when Al and Tony were there, and Al said something about the team, and she just said, I am just so grateful you guys showed up. You're like angels to her. I said, if you knew who these people were.
I think she's still in shock though.
Yeah, well,
She's
yeah.
still in shock.
Some of the rest of us are too. Your God moments. What
You
were your
know,
God
I,
moments?
let me just share. I, worked in the office all day, and so I saw a plethora of volunteers doing all sorts of different jobs. And I mean, it was really busy. People were out there coming in. I mean, it was busy, but not one volunteer complained about anything. They all came in jovial. Everybody came in, you know, I mean, like us. I mean, they all just were the joy of the Lord, no matter what it was. And there were some, you know, hurdles that they had to really get over. But everyone that came in there, even at the end of the day when they came in, there was laughter and there was joy. And where would you find that anywhere else?
Yeah. In the heart of a totally devastated area. Volunteers. They volunteers.
But it's Christ in us, you know.
Christ in us, the hope of the world. And while you're standing, Leslie's my God moment. She really is. I first of all, she's my hero. But secondly, y'all don't know this. Leslie's facing major back surgery in 2 weeks, and we were concerned about what she could do. She said, "I'm not staying home. I'm not staying home at all." But literally, seriously, this is really, it was my God moment, because we don't get to just march in and say, "Listen, this is who we are. This is where we're going to serve." We didn't know that whether she could serve in the office or not, and then we knew that if she served in the office, maybe she was going to not find it fulfilling, because obviously we're the heroes out there in the field doing all this stuff. And kidding, but what I'm saying is we just didn't know. And I came back this afternoon. I said, "Hey, sweetheart, how did it go?" And the joy on her face, for me, is my God moment. Just to realize how God opened that door and made it really, really work, and made it a good day for her. That's really special. Somebody else, your God moments, share 'em. Yeah.
Well, I think my God moments all involve people, and I would be remiss not to say that our three leaders, each one of you today, encouraged me, and that means the world, because I needed a little encouragement, and also so many people on our team, just little things that they said, or just little things that just meant so very much. And also, I know you guys mentioned when some of the ladies came and kind of went into some of those places. Well, it was a big house, and there were a lot of people there. But about the time, I think, that those women came, and they kind of were with a lot of you in some of the further back rooms down the hall, all of a sudden I walked through the living room, and there were three men that I hadn't seen that were pulling up this floor like they did it every day. And I said to one of them, I said, "Do you specialize in pulling up floors?" They kind of looked like the questions we get. But seriously, it was like boom, boom, boom. And they said, "No, they just sent us over, and this needs to be done." And I'm like, Lord, no one could coordinate. There was a crowd in that house, and yet everyone was finding their way to do things and just being so pleasant and cheerful about that. And to me, that comes from God.
That is a God thing. In fact, don't you remember some of you asked, "How will we know what to do?" And were we not accurate when we say, we don't even need to tell you what to do? It just falls in your hands. You just look around and say, "I think that needs to be done," and the next thing you know, you're doing it, and it needs to be done.
Can I share some?
You know, that I've been on these trips before, and that's really struck me this time. Just everybody was doing. No, who told you to do that?
And nobody was tripping over each other,
No.
except for Christy, but you expect that.
Alicia?
I want to share. I can't believe that I can remove those nails as fast as maybe if my husband will know that I can do that, he might think,
I wouldn't tell him.
Professional nail puller.
Tell him. I mean,
Yeah,
y'all
he
don't
was
know.
like so fast.
Alicia is a
Professional.
a nurse, but she's a nurse administrator. She doesn't pull a lot of nails.
Even
She
at
pulls
home, too.
ticks. She pulls out ticks.
She does pull out things.
I did.
Yes. Somebody else, your God moment. I don't want to take all night. Yes.
I don't have one. I have difficulty with this, but
James.
Al was telling me.
James. Tobacco.
Al was telling me about Tony and how they just happened to run into President.
Yeah, President Trump.
I saw the picture yesterday, and I thought, boy, that sure guy looks like Trump. So he told me the whole story of how they just happened to, and they just happened to be at the right place at the right time, and got a picture with
And
President
made it through
Trump.
all of his security.
Yeah.
He had no idea that Trump was here.
Yeah, no clue.
And they were going through all the security, and the guy goes, "Do you even know what's going on?" And he's like,
No.
"No." He's like, "You seriously don't know what's going on?" He's like, "No." He's like, "Sir, President Trump is here, and his, caravan's going to be here any minute. So you need to stand over here." So he had went through all this security, not even knowing why, and then
And they actually told him to park at a particular place under a tree. Wouldn't you like to be in the shade to her? And she says, well, yeah. And then the next thing you know, where does Trump get out?
So he came
Right there.
right there to the
That's cool. That is just really cool. You're in the midst of watching God at work everywhere you turn. How cool is that? Somebody else, God moment. Anybody? God moment. Anybody? All right. I had a couple of extra ones. One is watching Holly and Laura work today. That was kind of like a God moment for me. I mean, I told you I was trying to help Glenn use the shovel. And Glenn and I together in about 20 minutes got a section about this big around. And Holly comes in and takes that shovel. Next thing I know, it's just half the floor is gone.
He was tearing the drywall up. Nobody's business.
I'm telling you, and it was a God moment for me because we didn't bring those people from Florida. They were volunteers for the day. Yeah. And
You know what's cool about God and His divine moments? Did you know that Laura is the teacher of Holly's daughter, school teacher?
No.
Yeah.
I should have seen her. She walked in. I'm like, who
Yeah.
in the world is this woman? They're hugging. They're
Yeah,
it
they were
just
And
amazing.
they
They
had-
didn't coordinate coming.
No.
Yeah.
No.
They were-
How cool is that?
Yeah.
Anybody else? God moment? All right. Anybody, just real quickly, what was your major struggle today? What was the hardest thing for you to overcome? Just in a couple words. Say, huh?
The heat.
The heat. And I'm actually on the opposite end of that. I'm thinking of Angleton, Texas, when it's 105.
Oh, it was hotter in South Texas.
I'm just
than
thinking,
Louisiana.
thank you God for cool weather. It's what I'm
But
talking
it's still hot.
It was still hot.
The heat was fine, it's sweating. I mean, Jim knows, I don't sweat like I did. I mean, today, when my jeans are wet,
Yeah, it
I'm
was-
sweating.
Yeah. Somebody else. What was just your major struggle?
My struggle was my heavy work
The
shoes.
boots, the heavy work boots.
My spirit was really willing, but every time I leave my
Alicia got back on the bus and she said, they must have made these boots out of steel. The whole boot out of steel. Anybody else just major struggles? Yeah.
It's kind of a crazy one, but when I was pulling all the nails out of the walls, I was sweating so bad that sweat was getting in my eyes and wiping them and
Yeah.
crying out loud. My glasses were so fuzzy I could hardly see the nails.
Yeah, that's happened, yeah. All right, let's go down to the last, number 9B, summarize your day in one word. And we'll start with Peter, and we'll go around the room and come back. Describe your day in one word, and why would you choose that word? How would you describe your day?
Endurance.
Endurance, yeah. Hard placing, James said.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah. You learned
I read that this
endurance.
morning
Yeah.
before I went. Was that one?
Sheila, how would you describe your day?
Painful.
Painful. Leslie?
Heartfelt and physically, so.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's painful to watch these people lose everything. There's no question. Seriously, that's a very painful moment. Leslie?
Fulfilling.
Fulfilling. Cool.
Rewarding.
Rewarding.
You know, I was tired, but for me, as if I developed that empathy, not only sympathy, the empathy for
Empathy, yeah.
for Miss Love.
Yeah.
You know what? It happens to you that way. After 65 years of all these things, and so
Yeah.
that empathy.
Christie,
I would have to say different.
different?
Yeah,
How?
because I didn't have the opportunity to speak with love as much as I had liked to, but I did have little bits of speaking to love and speaking to Kathy and speaking to, you know, Laura, you know what I mean? So it was all of this together, but it wasn't just one specific person as the homeowner.
Yeah.
So it was just different that, you know.
Yeah. Love was not naturally a conversationalist. I mean, it just doesn't come easy for her.
Well, see, when we were all out on the back porch, I actually shut that door to that kitchen so that we could all conversate because you guys were making too much noise.
Yeah.
So we shut.
Yeah, we're sorry. We didn't mean to make noise. We'll try to be quieter tomorrow.
We'll bring rubber hammers next time.
That's right.
So, but anyway, and she was talking and stuff, but when I said that she was in shock, she's still in shock about her house.
Yeah.
She still does not, you know, she's 88, you know, and the elderly, when it comes to change, they can't handle that.
Yeah.
And when it's catastrophe like that, she's just still in shock.
Yeah, in fact, a good example of that is that back in their, not their main, that back room, but in the little kitchen area, John had sent her in there earlier in the day and said, we need to get this stuff out. And he came in, he was so frustrated. I mean, he's a cop, he doesn't, you know, compassion is not his strong suit, I can tell you.
Yes, for sure.
And he looked in there and he said, she's been in here all day and nothing has been moved. And he was really frustrated, but it is hard for her to part with that. They should.
Well, mine's not just one word, but better than expected.
Better than expected. Good. Great. Glenn.
I had read already James 1:1-8 this morning, so endurance was a word that I was thinking of through the day, and endurance was what I needed because I wanted to quit every hour or two.
Me too.
It was just to keep on working was hard to do it.
Yeah, good. James.
Mine was relief.
Relief?
That I was able to do as much as I got done today.
Yeah. No, that's good. Dave, your first trip, what word would you?
It was very rewarding to me.
Rewarding.
To see everybody working together and nobody's tripping over themselves. And
No.
everybody's so polite and saying, would you mind moving with this, that, and the other. Nobody dropping tools on themselves. And nobody got hurt.
Yeah.
And I think that was a blessing.
Rewarding. Good.
Pleasant.
Pleasant.
Great.
Great.
Excited.
Excited.
Only because it's not just bad, it's been a while since we've been together.
Yeah.
And the battle to get here, and we finally made it, and we're still excited to be back serving again.
This is the hardest trip that I think we've ever planned. And in fact, can I just give you this part? I don't know, you wouldn't get these notes, but you know, we were supposed to be in Baraboo, Wisconsin today. We were supposed to leave Saturday. We would have been up there today. They closed the site today. So we would have driven all the way to Baraboo, Wisconsin and be finished on our third day there. I'm thinking God had something to do with that. So my word was thrilling. This was just a thrilling day. Knowing, I could use any one of your words, but just knowing the hard uphill climb to make this happen, and to watch you guys with smiles on your face, knowing you were dog tired, I was just absolutely thrilled.
Satisfying.
Satisfying.
Exhausting, but not physically exhausting. It was exhausting watching everybody just move so fluidly.
Isn't it? It's kind of like
it just was kind of weird me out.
Yeah. Yeah. What would be your word?
Well, it's a little embarrassing because if I could choose my word now, I would say amazing because it was an amazing day. But when I wrote this, I wasn't there yet and I just said hot.
Hot. You and Frank. And you probably didn't know we were going to ask this, but how would you describe it?
Absolutely not. But reflecting back, challenging.
Challenge.
Yeah, we had some situations today that it's the first time. So it's just a real challenge to make sure we're focused on what we're doing there and just praying as we're talking and give God all the glory. So
Wow.
yeah, it was a good day.
That's great. Would you turn to page 5 real quick? We're done. We're going to wrap up. And turn to page 5. Do you have on page 5 the rapid response team down at the bottom of the page? All right, here's what I want you to do. I'm going to give you these names, write them in, and we will use them all week long. Number 1, and I'm just going to give you first names, so it's all page 5. What's Al's last name? Okay, that's what he wrote. I'm thinking he's not new, and I know.
He is.
Yeah, well, yes, he is. So number 1 is Al. Number 2 is Tony. Number 3 is Rebecca. Number 4 is Gina. Number 5 is George. Number 6 is Norma. Number 7 is Craig. Number 8 is Robert. Number 9 is Bruce. Number 10 is Irvin. Number 11 is Susan. And then actually, because there are 12, you can write a number 12 at the bottom, and that's Nance.
Okay, you're missing Stormy.
I'm sorry?
Stormy is Norma. No, it is
Stormy is Norma's husband.
Number 5, George.
George,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Really, Stormy?
George is Stormy.
Yeah, he goes by
Oh,
Stormy.
okay.
I was just going to ask that question because I didn't see his name.
Stormin Norman.
Nance. Nance.
But it's George.
Well, that's his wife.
It's Norma Jean. That's right. Yeah.
And she does go by Norma Jean.
Yeah. It's Norma Jean, not just Norma. Even though he wrote Norma on it.
Can I give you 2 more corrections?
Yes.
Number 7, Craig. He
Uh-huh.
goes by Rocky.
Rocky. Okay. Right in number 7, right? Rocky.
Yeah. And then Robert goes by Bob.
Robert goes by what?
Bob.
Number 8 is Bob. Okay.
9 p.m.
Okay, we're good. We're done. So
Do we
you have Todd and Dale. I don't know the rest of the staff yet. I haven't been able to get this figured out.
Amy, isn't she the office manager?
I'm
No.
sorry?
Amy?
Amy probably is serving as the office manager. Right in, Amy.
And Dave and Kathleen are the cooks.
Dave and Kathleen.
No, the office manager is
Caitlin?
that's
Hang on,
Marion.
she says
It's
not.
Marion.
Marion? I'm sorry.
Marion.
Office manager is Marion.
Marion. And the person that works in there with her is worked with her all day. Jean.
Jean?
Marianne?
Okay.
Where's Jean do?
Jean works in the office trailer.
She's a
Who's serving as volunteer coordinator, Les?
Ed.
Ed?
Yeah, Ed is.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Ed and Marion.
All right, here's what I need, and this is going to require. Huh? I don't know that there is an assistant program manager. I'm not sure who it is. I need somebody. Here's what I want you to do. I want you. I told you this on the way up here. I'm going to ask you to pick one of these people, and you just go to them. You may not know who they are. Have somebody point them out to you. I'm looking for Chaplain Bob, or I'm looking for Rocky. And if you need to, you can ask Nance. She'll point them out to you in the morning. But I want you to just go up to them and say, I'd like to have the joy of praying with you this morning. Anything special I can pray with you about. And then don't go into a long, hour-long prayer. This is just a simple, God doesn't need explanation. He just needs prayer. And for you to mention them in name. Take one of the cards that you have in the back of your book, write your name on it, hand it to them, and say, thank you for letting me pray for you. Nate, okay. Right, Nate on here.
Where?
He's working in the tool trailer. All right, if you notice, we've got almost room for everybody to pray for somebody. We'll pray for Todd in the morning. We'll pray for Todd.
I'll pray for Todd.
Okay, you got Todd. Now, if you notice on page 12, top of the page.
Do you need this? You want this recorded still?
Actually, it's not on page 12, it'll be on page 14. Is that when it is, where it is? For
Yes.
tomorrow Friday?
Yeah.
Tomorrow morning, write these names when you volunteer to pray for one of them, write their name right there. You're gonna pray for Todd. We'll pray for Dale Peterson. I'll pray for Dale. All right. We'll pray for Ed, our volunteer for him. You're gonna pray for Ed? Write his name in your book. We'll pray for the office manager, Marion.
Hello.
You pray for her? Just ask, if you don't know her, ask Leslie to point her out.
Okay.
We'll pray for Dave and Kathy. You can pray for both of them at the same time.
It's Kathleen.
Kathleen, I'm sorry. Vicky, you got them? Good. We'll pray for Jean. She's working in the trailer. We'll pray for Jean. Anybody? Daisha? All right. And who'll pray for Nate? You got Nate. All right. Let's just, even if you end up having to pray for 2 people, I just need to make sure everybody's covered. We'll pray for Al. Glenn. We'll pray for Tony. And typically we like to do same sex, but if you make sure you pray in public so you don't go private somewhere, I can have a male pray for a female and whatever if you do it in public. And just be very careful about.
I'll pray for
touching.
Tony.
You got Tony?
Yeah.
I'm gonna look up Stormy. I guess Tony must be the woman.
Tony's
Yes.
his wife, yeah. You're gonna pray for Stormy, which is George. Okay, number 5. Who'll pray for Rebecca? You got Rebecca? Who'll pray for Gina? We'll pray for Gina. She's one of the blue shirts. Is she the young girl?
She's blonde black hair.
Young.
I'll do Gina and Norma Jean.
You'll Gina and Norma Jean? Got it. Who'll do who'll do Rocky?
I will.
You got Rocky? Okay. He likes it. Yes, he does. You've got Bob. No, you've got who'll do Bob? Who's number 8? Yeah. Who'll do Bruce?
I'll do Bruce. I know
Okay,
him.
you got Bruce, that's fine. We'll do Urban. Okay, Urban. Susan. We'll do Susan. Who does? Somebody that's already got one. Take Susan. Okay, you got Susan? Yeah, that'd be good. And okay, you got pray for names. Okay. Don't let her know. This is a surprise. Be sure you take the card. Anything else we need to do? Thank you for being here, Father. Thank you for our time together. Thank you for this absolutely delightful team. Give them a wonderful, restful night. May they awaken tomorrow with surprisingly new strength. Well, thank you for it in Jesus' name. Amen.